percentages. Let's look at the answer for the first one. We need to complete the table which is given below, and let's see how we need to fill in those blanks. So we have 3 by 4. If you look at the first one, it is 1 by 2, and we have to convert it into a percentage. And how do we do that? We multiply 1 by 2. Two ways of doing it. Convert the denominator to 100, and whatever comes in the numerator, that particular number will be the percentage. Or you can directly multiply half by 100. You get 50%. 50 divided by 100 as a decimal is 0.5. Let's look at the next one. 3 by 4 is how much percentage? So remember, I told you you will write 3 by 4 and multiply it with 100. And when you multiply it with 100, you will see that it is 300 divided by 4, which is nothing but 75%. And 75% as a decimal is 75 divided by 100. So you shift the decimal point one place and two places, so it becomes 0.75. So this is in terms of the decimal that we write it. Let's look at the next one. The next one is given that it is 65%, which means it is 65 divided by 100. So 65 divided by 100, when you see the common factor, remember you'll always have to bring it to the lowest terms. So 65 divided by 100. So you see that there is 5 which is in common, and then when you cancel the common factors, you will get that it is 13 plus 13 5s are 65 divided by 20, because 25s are 65. So 13 by 20. This again, when you convert it into a decimal, remember 65 by 100. So shift the decimal place. So it becomes 0.65. The next one, you've been given that the decimal is 0.675. So what is the percentage? Remember, the decimal, when we have to convert it to the percentage, we know that here some number divided by 100 has given you this. So this decimal multiplied by 100 will give you the percentage. So it is 0.675 multiplied by 100. So that is 67.5 as a percentage. Good. Let's now convert it into the fraction. And the fraction is 67.5 divided by 100, and when you cancel the common factors which you have, you will get this as 27 divided by 40. Good. Let's look at the next one. 50.5%. So remember, when I have to convert this into a decimal, when I multiply this, because it's a mixed number, so it is 100 plus 101 divided by 2, which gives you the 50 and 1 by 2%. So now remember, you have the percentage sign, so it is 50 into 2 is 101 divided by 2 upon 100. So which means that it is nothing but 0.505. Remember, you shift the decimal points. So I repeat once again, 50 into 2 is 100, 100 plus 1 is 101, 101 divided by 200. And when you divide it, so let me write the fractions for you here. It is 101 divided by 200. And I'm just going to show you how you got that 0.505. When I divide it by 200, I know that it goes, I write 200 down here for you to understand that. So it does not go directly, so it is 0 point. When I put a point, I'm allowed to put a 0 here. So it goes 5 times, it becomes 1000. And when I subtract it, I get 10. And 10 again does not go in 200. So again I put a 0 there, and again, since I'm allowed to put zeros after the decimal point, it becomes 0.505. I would urge you to try this division out and see whether you get this answer. The next one you have is 5 by 8. Now 5 by 8, you want to convert it into a percentage. It is 5 by 8 multiplied by 100, and that becomes 62.5% or 62 and a half. Either way is perfectly right. So all that you have to do is multiply 5 by 8 into 100, which becomes 500 divided by 8. So you get 62.5 as a percent. Remember, when you want to convert it to a decimal, it is 62.5 divided by 100. So you shift the decimal place one place to the left, one place to the left, because there are two zeros. So it is 0.625. It's extremely easy once you get the hang of it. So the more you practice, the better for you. Next is Priya ate 3 pieces of the 8 pieces of a pizza. What percentage of pizza did she eat? So we are going to find out that it is 3 upon 8. Remember, as a percentage we need to convert. So 3 by 8 multiplied by 100, because we want to convert it as a percentage. So when you multiply it by 100, you will have the common factor cancellation. For example, here it is 2 goes in this and this goes in this 50 times. So you have 150 divided by 4. So 150 divided by 4 would give you 37.5%. So this is 37. You can either write it as and a half, or you can write it as 0.5%. So it is 37.5 as a percentage. Okay, that's nice. Now let's look at the next one. What percentage of the pizza is remaining? See, again, what you can do is you can say 3 by 8 is what she has eaten. So what is remaining is 5 by 8 multiplied by 100. Or you can directly do 100, because the entire pizza would be 100, and so it is 100 minus 37.5, which is nothing but 62.5. You can do it in any one of the two ways. 62.5, or I write it as 62.5%. Let's look at the next one. Fatima ate 21 chocolates from a box. If she ate 35% of the chocolates, how many chocolates were there in the box? Okay, so she has a box, and from that box she has already eaten 21 of the chocolates. But we know that she has actually eaten 35% of the chocolate. That means if there were 100 chocolates in the box, Fatima has eaten 35 of them. This is a data that is being given to us. And now we are saying that she has actually eaten 21 of it. So how many do you think were there in the box? So it is nothing but 100 divided by 35 multiplied by 21. So it is 100, let me write it for you here, divided by 35 multiplied by 21. You see that 7 times table goes in both 21 as well as in 35. So it goes 5 times, and here it goes 3 times. And 5 will go once, and 5 will go in this 20 times. So 20 multiplied by 3. She initially had 60 chocolates in the box, and she's been eating from that. And how much has she eaten? 21 of them. Let's look at the next one. Jason earns 45,000 rupees each month. He spends 25% of his salary on rent, 15% of his salary on food, and saves the rest. How much money does he spend on rent? So remember, for rent, it is said that 25% of his salary is on rent. So we have to find out 25 divided by 100 multiplied by 45,000. Now you know it's very easy when it is divided by 100 and you have zeros here. You need to just cancel the two zeros here. So it is 450 multiplied by 25, or you can directly write 25 by 100 as 1/4, and 1/4 multiplied by this, and that will give you 11250 is what he pays for rent. So that is 11,000 250. How much money does he spend on food? So now we see that 15% of his salary is on food. So again, it is 15 divided by 100 multiplied by 45000, which is 6750, because you can directly cancel out the zeros and you will get this as 6750. Once again, let me repeat this. So we know that it is 15% of a salary is on food. So we are doing 15 divided by 100. I'll just write it here for you. 15 divided by 100 multiplied by 45,000. So when you multiply this by 45,000, you have the two zeros cancel out, you have the two zeros, so it is 450 multiplied by 15, which is 6750. Good. How much money does he save? So remember, he's used up 25% and he's used up 15%. So altogether, he's used up 40% of his salary and the remaining 60% is what he saves. So two ways of doing it. Either you add up 11,250 and 6,750, find the total and subtract that from 45,000, or you can do it as 60% of 45,000, which is the remaining, because he spent it on rent, he spent it on food, and the remaining is 60% of that which he saves it up, and that is 27,000. And how do I get that? 60 divided by 100 multiplied by 45,000 gives me 27,000. Let's look at the next one. There are 80 students in a class. If 85% are present on a particular day, how many students are absent? So remember, we have 85% who are present, which means that 15% of the students were absent. So it is 15 divided by 100. And what's the total number of students that we have? We have 80 multiplied by 80. So cancel out the 0. And here I will have 2 goes in 10 5 times, 2 goes in 8 4 times. 5 goes once. Remember, you're bringing out the common factors and cancelling them. 5 goes in 15 3 times. So we'll have 4 multiplied by 3, which is 12 students were absent on that particular day. A tailor had 5 meters 225 centimeters of cloth. If he used 3 meters and 36 centimeters, what percent of the cloth does he have left with him? So remember, when you have this in terms of metric system, converted to 1 unit. So since centimeter is the lowest one, we convert this entire one into centimeter, which is 525. 1 meter is 100 centimeters. So 5 meters is 500 plus 25 is 525, and this becomes 3 meters and 36 centimeters is 336 centimeters. So now we have the entire thing in centimeter. Now remember, he's used this up, so we are going to subtract this. So when we subtract this, we find that 5 minus 6 not possible, so you're actually going to borrow, and it becomes 15 minus 6, which is 9. 1 minus 3 not possible. Once again we borrow, and it becomes 11 minus 3, which is 8, and 4 minus 3 is 1. Let's do a quick check once again. 5 minus 6 not possible, we borrow, so it is 15 minus 6, so it is 9. And here you have 2, which had become 1 because we had it borrowed from here. So it is 11, since I borrow it again from the hundreds place. 11 minus 3, which is 8, and 4 minus 3. So it is 189 centimeters of the cloth is left with him. Now, is that what is asked? Oh, but they've asked for it in terms of percentage. So we have 189 divided by, what was the initial amount he had? 525 centimeters. So this is the fraction of the cloth that is left, and we want it in percentage. So we multiply this by 100. And look at the common factors which go. You will have 5 which goes. You will actually cancel the common factors, and you will see that you arrive at the answer of 36%. If you've enjoyed doing this worksheet, log on to Luma World for many more of these.